Welcome back to Scout Report on Eurofootball Daily, where we've searched the continent to find 3 managers ready-made for the Premier League. Coaches are being hired and fired at a prolific rate in England's top flight this term, so one of our choices might just be the solution if your club decides to make a change in the dugout. Christophe Galtier. For any manager, maintaining steady employment is no easy feat. Yet it's testament to Christophe Galtier's ability that he's only spent 5 months out of work since 2009, the year he finally rose to the challenge of head coach at Saint-Etienne, having spent 10 seasons as an assistant at the likes of Marseille, Portsmouth and Lyon. Galtier's achievements with Les Verts over the next 8 years were subsequently overshadowed by the rise of PSG. But what won't be forgotten in Saint-Etienne is how he re-energised the former giants of French football, achieving 7 straight top 10 finishes and winning the 2013 Coupe de la Ligue. In December 2017, he joined a Lille side threatened with relegation after a turbulent period under Marcelo Bielsa. But Galtier set about transforming their fortunes too. In 1819, Les Dogues finished second, thanks in part to a prolific Nicolas Pepe, who scored 22 and assisted 11 to earn an €80 million switch to Arsenal that summer. Fast forward to 2021, and the Marseille-born coach showed tactical flexibility by switching Lille from an attacking 4-2-3-1 to a more defensive 4-4-2. Victor Osimhen had just left for an additional €71 million, and in his place arrived the relatively untested Jonathan David and the veteran forward Burak Yilmaz. Unsurprisingly, Lille were not the greatest side going forward. A remarkable 45% of their efforts came from outside the box, while their final tally of 64 goals exceeded their expected return by 15.9. Expected points suggested they should have finished 4th, but instead Lille romped to a remarkable title. Their success was built off the back of an exceptionally disciplined defence that conceded merely 23 times. Galtier's new shape stayed compact without the ball, pushing the opposition wide before transitioning into fast and direct attacks. Only PSG and Rennes completed more than Lille's 1,394 pressures in the final third, helping his well-drilled unit spend just 24% of matches in their own third. A momentous top-flight title should have earned Galtier a shot with a European giant, so it was a little surprising when the 55-year-old joined Nice last summer, a side who only laboured to 9th in Ligue 1 in 2021. But on the Côte d'Azur, he looks like a manager at the peak of his powers. Backed by the British billionaire Sir Jim Ratcliffe, the Eagles spent €48 million in pre-season on the likes of Jean-Claire Todibo and Calvin Stengs, and the results have been instantaneous. Galtier is using the same 4-4-2 that served Lille so well, and to date Nice have the tightest defence in France, having conceded just 9. Both his main centre-halves, Todibo and a 38-year-old Dante, rank among the top defenders for successful pressures, while Walter Benitez currently holds the best save rate in Ligue 1 on 81.1%. But Nice's attacking talent means they're equally as prolific in the final third. After 12 games, they've scored 23 times, 3 fewer than PSG, though expected goals suggest that shouldn't be the case. Amine Gouiri has continued his growth under Galtier to stand on 6 goals and 4 assists, contributing a superb 4.6 shots and key passes per 90. And Andy Delors, a €10 million summer pickup from Montpellier, has proved an excellent partner to Gouiri up front. On 5 goals of his own, he's completing a massive 4.6 key passes per 90, while also winning 3.3 aerials per match. It's just another example of Galtier extracting the very best from the players at his disposal. Nice look like a side reborn, on course for their highest ever finish in Ligue 1 if they can stay in second. Should that happen, Galtier's work will surely not go unnoticed by the Premier League any longer. Ignacio Alguasil. These days, few clubs hire managers purely for the short term. While the occasional specialist may be hired to fend off relegation or cleanse the palate after the departure of a Ferguson or Guardiola, most coaches are intended, however foolishly, as investments in the future. So Ignacio Alguasil surely can't spend much longer at Real Sociedad before being snapped up by a bigger team. The Spaniard, who was born just 20 minutes from the Anoeta, came through the side's academy and made over 100 first-team appearances, and has proved just as loyal after retirement, joining the youth setup in 2011 and becoming head coach in 2018. Sociedad were in a rough cycle, finishing 12th the year before Alguacil's promotion, but the hometown boy quickly set about improving things. In his first season, expected goals suggested La Real merited 11th place, but they actually came in 9th. The next campaign they matched their XG with a 6th place finish, and last season, though they came in 5th, the stats were even more positive, suggesting that Sociedad were the 3rd best team in Spain, ahead of Sevilla and champions Atletico Madrid. A feat made even more amazing by the fact that across Alguacil's tenure, Sociedad have only signed a player for a fee 5 times, mostly rebuilding through free transfers. Despite that, Alguacil has been able to remould La Real in a distinctive style. The team has had more possession each campaign under him and are more aggressive in the press than ever before, going from attempting a defensive action every 10 passes before he came, ranking 11th in La Liga, to doing so every 8 passes last year, the second best mark in the division. As a consequence, they've been able to juice their numbers in both attack and defence, progressing from 1.2 xg a game and the same against in 18-19 to 1.6 xg for and just 0.96 against in 2021. Essentially the difference between mid-table output and Champions League performances, achieved in the space of 3 years. That should be enough to get the attention of the Premier League, but it's not the only achievement of Alguasil's debut job in management. As you'd expect from a man who spent over 7 years working in the Sociedad Cantera, he has done an excellent job of developing the club's crop of talented youngsters, with 11 of the 17 players to have appeared in more than 5 Sociedad games this season, aged 25 or under. On his watch, Mikel Oyarzabal has become a forward capable of delivering 20 goals and assists in league play, with his shots, key passes and expected goals improving every campaign under the Basque tactician. Alexander Isak, picked up from Dortmund at 19 years old, has matured into one of the best young strikers on the continent, now averaging over 3 shots a game and steadily bettering his pass completion as he links the attack together. And Mikel Merino, similarly discarded by Dortmund, has become an outstanding all-round midfielder, winning possession more than 4 times per 90 and ranking 6th in Spain for progressive passes this term. Between the three of them, Alguasil has added roughly £89 million to the value of the club's squad, according to Transfermarkt, more than 3 times the amount he spent in his time in charge. To put that in context, it's a quarter of the price the Public Investment Fund paid for Newcastle United, a colossal sum for a team like La Real. Alguasil may have no experience outside San Sebastian and a language barrier to be broached, but his track record of coaching press and possess football on a shoestring and bringing on youngsters makes him a great candidate for the next PL vacancy. Perhaps Everton, long in need of an identity, could find one in the Basque. Vincenzo Italiano. For our final choice, we're in Serie A, where the aptly named Vincenzo Italiano is quickly emerging as the nation's most exciting managerial talent. Last summer, Italiano made the jump from Spezia to Fiorentina, profiting from Gennaro Gattuso's decision to step away from La Viola just weeks into the job, after a typically combustible fallout with the club's owner Rocco Commisso over transfer targets. Clearly, this has proved a blessing in disguise, as while Gattuso waits patiently for his next job, Fiorentina are riding high, currently 7th in Serie A, 1 point off the Champions League places. Italy's stunted giant look back on top. But this will have come as no surprise to anyone who followed Italiano's development. In just 3 years, the former Hellas Verona midfielder has risen from non-league to Serie A, first getting Trapani promoted to Serie B in 2018-19, before guiding Spezia to the big time a season later. What's more, he then managed to keep the Little Eagles in the Italian top flight, despite their minnow status. For context, their kit is made by Acerbis, who we haven't heard of either, and they have a stadium capacity of just 10,000. And they deserve to survive too. They may have conceded 72 times in the league, but their attack more than compensated, scoring 52 goals across the campaign. That was better than 10 other sides in Serie A, and expected points suggest their efforts warranted a 16th place finish. Italiano managed to extract goals from throughout a squad lacking in any real household names. Though Angolan forward Mbala Unzola was the star with 11 goals from just 2.1 shots per 90, 7 other members of the side managed to find the net 3 times or more across the campaign. They achieved this through pressing and direct football. Spezia pressed about as much as Lazio and Milan, and while they did give up big chances, they managed to suppress shots, only allowing 11 shots per game, which was fewer than Juventus. That meant that when he was given better talent, as at the Stadio Artemio Franchi, defensive performance rocketed, with La Viola currently conceding just 8.3 shots per 90. That's 4th best in Europe's top 5 leagues, behind only Manchester City, Atletico Madrid and Bayern Munich. Spezia also completed 41.2 long balls per 90, way more than any team in Serie A, and 12 more per game than second place Juventus, and that's continued this season, with Fiorentina already topping the long balls charts. So the aim is clearly to win the ball back high and then hit opponents before they get back into their structure. Cristiano Biraghi has become a surprise creator from defence, contributing 1.9 key passes per 90, of which half comprise long balls. Meanwhile, Dusan Vlahovic has gone from strength to strength under Italiano, on 8 goals from an impressive 3.3 shots per game to take his record in Florence to 31 goals in his past 52 Serie A appearances. Fiorentina haven't finished in the top 10 in Italy for 4 years, so should Italiano keep La Viola on course to rectify that at a time when Serie A is back to its competitive best, then the Stadio Artemio Franchi may not be his home for too much longer. So those were 3 managers who the Premier League's clubs could consider next time they have a vacancy, but who else should we have considered? Let us know in the comments below. Drop us a like and subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell, and you'll never miss a video. We'll see you next time.